All right, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you all how to create a pivot table so that you can sort the data from your attendance sheet much more easily. Okay, because at the start of the year, it was kind of a pain to try to sort all of this stuff and submit it for the attendance. So for example, you had to like highlight all of this and right click it and sort the range and all that nonsense, right? And it takes a little bit too long to do that. Um, so I'm going to show you a little bit of a faster way. So this is a copy of my attendance form where all of the data would sort of populate as kids filled out the attendance. All names have been changed, so you don't need to worry about that. But essentially, all we need to do to fix this is to actually do a few simple things. We need to separate this timestamp so that we can actually sort the stuff by date, because otherwise it became a bit confusing to try to sort everything. Um, and I will say that this is easy to do, but there's a lot of steps. So make sure you're following along closely, because anything that you one small mistake can cause something to go wrong and you won't understand why. In fact, while I was recording this, the first time I made a small mistake and I wasn't sure how to fix everything. So I actually had to go back and restart to fix the small mistake that I had made. Okay. But anyways, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to define a named range called timestamp. Okay. So it's going to be easier to write some of our formulas with the named range. So we're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to click on column A, we're going to right click, we're going to say define named range down here. We're going to name this one timestamp. Okay, so it's from form responses 1 to all in the A column. Okay, so click done. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a new tab. Okay, so in this, we're going to title it data separation, because this is where we're going to be separating out our data. Okay, so we're going to say equals timestamp, and you'll see that when we hit that, it populates with the information from the previous sheet. So you'll see the first few, 917, 850, 42, 917, 945, 04. If we go back over here, those are the same things that are listed here. Okay, so eventually we'll drag this all the way down, but for now we're going to move on. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is in cell B2, so not B1, in B2, we're going to type in this formula. Okay, and we're going to have to edit it in a minute, but I just want to show you what exactly is going on, and then we will change things. Okay, so we're going to say equals left. So what essentially this is going to do is it's going to start searching from the left of this timestamp. Is how we're going to set it up. Okay, we're going to say timestamp. We're going to say find. And we're going to say quotation, space, quotation. Okay, so essentially what that's looking for is a space. So it's going to be looking at the left of this timestamp for a space. Okay, I'm going to type timestamp again, then 1, close parentheses, -1, and then close parentheses 2 times. Okay, so it says perfect. We're all done with that, right? Not quite. Okay. The reason that we're not done with this is you'll see if I try to format this as a different number, it actually doesn't work because this is stored as text right now. We actually want it to be stored as an actual value so that we'll be able to sort it moving forward. Okay, so all we need to do to fix that is just add equals value and then add a parentheses at the beginning and end, and now it's going to save as a value. You'll see now it says it's 44,091. That's because when it's stored as a number, it's going to be stored as a number. So we need to change it to be formatted as a date. Okay, so we're going to select it and then go to date. And there we go. Now it's back to 9/17/20, and we can just drag that down over there. Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the original tab, so this one over here, and you'll see that the URL actually changes when you go between different tabs. So you can see that in the top up there. Okay, so we're going to copy the URL from the first tab, and we're going to put in this formula in C1. Okay, so in C1, we're going to type equals import range, parentheses, and then we're going to do quotation. We're going to paste the link that we copied. and we're going to comma, and then we're going to say quotation again, B1, B1 to F999. Okay, and then close the parentheses, and there we go. So now it's loading, and eventually that will populate with some of the data that we are looking for. So we just need to wait for that to load in. Make sure that you do not forget the quotation marks. Okay, that's very, very, very important. Okay. Hopefully this will load. Okay, there we go. So now you'll see that we have all of this data copied over from the first sheet. The reason that we do this is that we can sort of verify things. If anything was a little bit screwy, we would be able to go and check some of the other things as well. So you'll see we have all of the students' last names, their first names, which I redacted. These are all different names. These are all their email addresses. Okay, so we have all the relevant information, and now we just need to actually sort it. So I'm going to, now that this is done, I'm going to drag these down all the way down to 999. And then we're going to create our pivot table after this. Okay, so I'm going to drag this all the way down, and then we'll move on to the next section. For reference, if you ever run out of space on your document, you can just click add 1,000 rows at the bottom, and it'll allow you to do that. After you do that, you're going to have to drag down some of these formulas to also include those extra rows. So make sure that you don't forget to do that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to select data from the menu bar. Okay, so we're going to hit data on the menu bar, and then we're going to select pivot table. Okay, so we're going to click on pivot table, and we're going to start it as a new sheet. And I'm just going to name this pivot table. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's the data range. I'm an idiot. So I'm just going to close that just so that I can get the correct data range. So pivot table, A1 to G1000. Sure, yes, perfect. And then I want to rename this. So I'm going to rename it as pivot table. Okay. Now, all that we need to do is we need to click on the table to bring up the editor. If it's not showing up, delete the named ranges thing. So click on the table, it'll bring up the editor. And now we just need to set up the fields that we want the pivot table to search. Okay, so we're going to set it up like this. So in rows, we're going to add, we're going to say student last name. Okay, we're going to set that up to be ascending. Alrighty. And then in the column, we are going to do cohort. Okay, we're also going to do ascending. All right, and then the next one, we're in values, we're going to do email address. Okay, and then the last thing in the filters, we're going to filter it by date, which I actually never named this. So I'm going to name this as date. Okay, so now let's go and filter it by that. So we're going to filter by date. Okay, so now we'll be able to select in here. So if I click clear, I'll be able to pick any day that I want and actually view the stuff there. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to see on 9/18, I'd be able to see, oh, these are all the students that were there on 9/18. And as the things come in each morning, for example, so if I clear this again, I'm going to check it for today. So for today, if I hit OK, I had all 20 students select that they were here and input their stuff on the sheet. So I'd be able to then go into Plus Portals and input my attendance for the morning.